to it because that's a very good question. Which word? Let's go back to it. And I told you to pay very close attention to this. (25:22). And the children struggled together within her, and she said, If it be so, wherefore do I live? And she said, she went to inquire of the Lord, and the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in your womb, and now listen, and 2 peoples shall be separated from your bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. This is going to come into play shortly.
Yes.
Yep. Okay? We never see here that Isaac ever heard this word. We don't know that she went home and told him. We know nothing. What we do know, though, is that the spiritual roles of women is to take care and teach and train children. It's not the father's responsibility to teach and train the children. The father's responsibility is to provide spiritual insight and to provide. Isaac did both of those things. He provided for the family, and he was so elevated spiritually, but he was not given insight into his children's lives. Women are. Laura told you the story that I was studying in my office, and she was doing a gift basket, because at that time she had a gift basket business. And she walked into the office and she was like, Scott, I think God just told me to paint her room pink. And she was like, do you think my mom's going to move in with us? And I was like, no, she's got her own house. Why won't you move in with us? And I said, okay, we'll paint the room pink. We didn't even know we were pregnant. We're painting a room pink. Am I lying? We were painting the room pink, and we had no confirmation of anything. Okay? She had an insight into our daughter's life. I was sitting there studying, and I had no clue. Okay? That's the woman's role. Okay? Not more important, not less important. It's her role. Okay? The man's role is to bring down the Torah, to teach the Torah. What has God spoken to Isaac about? The promise of the seed, the blessing, the carrying on of the promise or the covenant. He's concerned about the covenant. She's concerned about the children. Big difference. Okay? Yet both are needed. Okay? Now, let's remember this verse. Let's jump over to chapter 27. And it came to pass that when Isaac was old, verse 1, and his eyes were dim so that he could not see, he called Esau, his elder son, and said to him, My son. And he said, Here am I. He said, Behold, now I am old. I do not know the day of my death. Now therefore take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy quiver, and thy bow, and go out to the field, and take me venison. Now I want to pause there and point out what it tells him to take. Weapons, quiver, and bow. Basically, he's telling him, I want you to take your whole entire arsenal and go get me some venison. Okay? Then he says, and make me savory food, such as I love, and bring it to me that I may eat, that my soul may bless thee before I die. So his intention is to give the Abrahamic covenant to Esau. Okay? Look at what Esau does. It says, and Rebekah heard when Isaac spoke to Esau his son. And Esau went to the field to hunt for venison and to bring it. And Rebekah spoke to Jacob, her son, saying, behold, I've heard your father speak to Esau, your brother, saying, bring me venison and make me savory food, that I may eat and bless thee before the Lord, before my death. Now, I want to point out what Rebekah did here. She said nothing derogatory about her husband. Even though she had the insight into her children, she never said anything derogatory about him. She just said, I heard him say to Esau that he's about to bless him and send him to the field to get venison. She did not bring him in and start bad talking her husband. She did not say, you know how your father is. You know how he likes him better than you. You know how he treats you. She didn't do any of that. She never once demeaned this man. Even though she had an insight, she never even brought it up to him. I know better than you. God spoke to me. She never did that. She understood her role. There was never any argument over which child was supposed to get it. I'm going to show you something. Now look. Verse 8. Now therefore, my son, hearken unto my voice, and do it according to that which I commanded thee. Now go to the flock. Again, showing that he is a shepherd. Go to the flock. Okay? And and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats, that I may make them savory for thy father, such as he loveth, that thou shalt bring to thy father, that he may eat, so that he may bless you before his death. She knew, we just read it, she knew that Jacob was to receive it. Now, listen to what I'm about to say. The birthright and the blessing are 2 different things. The birthright and the blessing are 2 different things. He has negotiated and received the birthright. Yet there's still a blessing. The birthright guaranteed a double inheritance. A worldly inheritance. Listen to what I'm saying. Esau, though he was a man of the world, gave up his double portion inheritance. So all he's got left is the blessing. But the blessing, he's not qualified for. Hold on. Hold on. And Jacob said, verse 11, and Jacob said to his mother, behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man. I'm a man of smooth. I'm a smooth man. I'm not so sure he said it like that. He's a man of the field, baby. Anyway, and then he says, my father peradventure will fill me, and shall seem to him as a mocker, and I shall bring a curse upon me and not a blessing. And the mother said unto him, Upon me be your curse, my son. Only hearken to my voice and go fetch him. In my mama's words, don't worry about that. Go get what I told you to go get, boy. That's what my mom would say. Right? Now, what I will tell you here is, was there ever a curse? No. But Jacob is a very spiritual man. So he's concerned about, instead of getting blessed, he'll be cursed, because what they're about to do is an act of deception. Okay? Now, and he went and fetched and brought them to his mother, and his mother made savory food such as his father loved. And Rebekah took the choice garments of Esau, her elder son, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Jacob, her younger son. And she took the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands, and upon the smooth of his neck. Now, babe, no matter how much hair you say I have,
Whatever.
I ain't like this. You take the hair of a
TMI,
goat,
bro, TMI.
and put it on the back of your hand. You are a hairy dude. Have you seen the hairy goats?
Yeah.
These are goats that have long, long hair. They're in the east.
Yeah.
They have very long hair. And this is what he's putting on his neck and on the back of his hands. Okay? I don't know how hairy this guy was, but dude, really? Goats?
Sasquatch.
The original Wolfman right here, baby. Okay? Verse 16, and he put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands and upon the smooth of his neck. And he gave savory food and bread, which she had prepared, into the hand of Jacob. And he came to his father and said, My father. And he said, Here I am. Who art thou, my son? And Jacob said to his father, I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done according as thou hast badest me. Arise, I pray thee, sit and eat of my venison, and that thy soul may bless me. Notice where the blessing comes from. His soul. And Isaac said to his son, How is it that thou hast found it so quickly, my son? And he said, Because the Lord thy God has sent me good speed. And Isaac said unto Jacob, Come near, I pray thee, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be my very son Esau or not. And he discerned him not. Oh, wait a minute. 22. And Jacob went near to Isaac his father, and he felt him, and he said, The voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau. Why was his voice the voice of Jacob? Okay? Revisit what he said. He said, The Lord thy God. When have you ever seen Esau speak of the Lord thy God? Okay? That's why it says you speak like Joseph, but you feel like, Jacob. You speak like
Jacob.
Jacob. Thank you. You speak like
You're
Jacob,
welcome.
but you feel like Esau. Okay? And Jacob said to his father, verse 20, 21, 22, 23. And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy, I'd say so, and as his brother's hands, so he what? He blessed him. All right. And he said, Art thou my very son Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, Bring it near to me, that I may eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat. And he brought him wine and drink. And his father Isaac said to him, "Come here now and kiss me, my son." And he came near and kissed him and smelled the smell of his raiment, and blessed him and said, "See, the smell of my son is the smell of the field which the Lord hath blessed." This is how he begins to set up the blessing. That he's going to bless him, and that he has the smell of the field because of the clothes. Okay? I know there's a lot of tradition around these clothes. Not talking about them. Okay? What I want you to see here is this. Verse 28, 29. It says, "And God," this is what he says, "so that God give thee the dew of heaven, the fat places of the earth, plenty of corn and wine." Now it's not corn. This is a bad translation. It should be wheat or grain. It should be grain. Grain and wine. "Let peoples serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's son bow down to thee. Cursed be every one that curseth thee, and blessed be every one that blesseth thee." And it came to pass that as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarcely gone out from the presence of Isaac, his father, and Esau, his brother, came in from his hunting. Now, before we get into Esau, I want to mention a few things here. Number one, I want us to look at this blessing, and then we're going to compare it to Esau, because Esau receives a blessing. He just doesn't receive the blessing. Okay? Also, Rebecca must have been a good cook, because if you could take goat and make it taste like venison, dude,
Right?
she must have been that woman could cook. I've had goat and I've had venison, and they don't taste nothing alike.
Yeah, right?
But he was deceived by it.
Yeah. She had to have some
Spices.
There had to be something. I was like, dude, seriously? Goat don't taste nothing like venison. Both do taste wild. Anyway, let's look at what he says. Verse 30, "And it came to pass as soon as Isaac had made the end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarcely gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from hunting. And he made savory food and brought it to his father. And he said to his father, Let my father arise and eat of thy son's venison, that thy soul may bless me." Both of the sons said exactly the same thing. "Come and eat of my venison, that your soul may bless me." And Isaac his father said to him, "Who art thou?" And he said, "I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau." And Isaac trembled very exceedingly, and said, "Who then is he that hath taken venison and brought it to me? And I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him. Yea, and he shall be blessed." At this point, he knew who he had blessed. And he said, "And of a surety, he's blessed. I can't remove it. I've already given it. I can't recall it. He's blessed." Both of it. This is why he trembled. It says that he shook violently. Oh, God. Okay? And Isaac, his father, said, Verse 34, "And Esau heard the words of his father, and cried with an exceeding cry and bitter cry. And he said unto his father, Bless me, even me also my father. And he said, Thy brother came with guile and hath taken away your blessing. And he said, Is not he rightly named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. Anytime we say, or anyone says, that Jacob stole the birthright or stole the blessing, we immediately align with Edom. Because this is exactly what he said. He's taken it from him. He stole it. Okay? And he said, Hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given him for servants, and with corn and wine, or grain and wine, have I sustained him. And what then shall I do for you, my son? And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou not one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, my father. And Esau lifted up his voice, wept. And Isaac his father answered and said to him, Behold, of the fatted places of the earth shall it be thy dwelling, and the dew of heaven from above. And thy sword shall thou live, and thou shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt break loose, that thou shalt shake his yoke from off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob, because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. It says that he hated him because of his blessing. We could look at that one of 2 ways. Either the blessing that Esau received, or the blessing that Yaakov received. Okay? Say it either way. Both were blessed. Only one was blessed by Hashem. I want us to compare these 2 blessings because there are similarities and there are differences. So on one side of the board, write Jacob's blessing. Right on the other side, Esau's blessing. Both were blessed. They just had different blessings. Jacob's blessing. Okay. Right under Jacob's blessings, Genesis 27, 28 and 29. 28, 29. Chapter 27, verses 28. Oh, I see why you're confused. 28 and 29. Verses 28, 29. Under Esau's blessing, Genesis 27, verses 39, 7, 39, and 40. Or just comma. 2 verses. Anytime you do verses, it's just a comma. Okay? So, let's look at Jacob's blessing. Number 1. And God give thee the dew of heaven. And God give thee the dew of heaven. I'll answer it in just a minute. Let's just list this stuff out. The dew of heaven. The. Do. Like Mountain Dew? Okay.
Mind you, honey, that would be recognized, huh?
Number 2. And, just do the and sign. Of the fatness of the earth. Three. And plenty of grain and new wine. That's all verse 28. Number 4. And we're beginning in verse 29. Let the people serve thee. Let peoples serve thee. And let the and nations bow down. Yes. And nations bow down to thee. B-O-W. Like both. To thee. 6.
The
Be-
is T-H-E-E. Right, T-H-E-E? Yes. The?
Unto thee. Like you.
T-H-E-E?
Yes, like you.
Oh.
Yes. Be Lord over thy brethren. Be Lord over your brothers.
T-E-E? T-H-E-E. T-H-E?
E.
Two E's.
That could be you.
The top
Be
one, two.
lo-
Okay, continue.
6. Be Lord over your brethren. Be Lord, L-O-R-D, over,
What?
over. Be Lord over.
I've never spelled that word before.
It's not be Lord, it's 2 different words. Be, L-O-R-D, and it's not God's name.
Well,
L-O-R-D. L-O-R-D.
B and then Lord, L-O-R-D.
I know what you're trying to do, but that's not God's name.
That's
Be
cool.
Lord over your brother. Your brothers.
Just put Baal.
Your brothers will be.
Number 7. And let thy mothers, sons, mothers, sons, bow down to you. Sons. Okay, number 8. This is a long one. You ready? Curse. Be everyone. Be. B-E. Yes. That curse thee. Comma. Comma after curse. The curse thee. Oh, after thee, I'm sorry. And blessed be everyone that bless thee. Now, notice that the blessing begins with, and God give. So this blessing, all of this, is given by God to Yahweh. Okay, that's verse 29. Now let's look at verse 39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him. Who answered?
Isaac.
If you go to verse 38, Esau asked him, do you not, Father, have but one blessing for me? So this is Isaac blessing his son.
Without God's.
It's Isaac blessing his son. So both were blessed. One had God's, and the other had his father's. Look at this.
So
Number one. Look of the fatness of the earth shall be your dwelling. Two. And the dew of heaven from above. You could actually consider that one blessing, to be honest, but that's verse 39. Verse 40.
Let's put some on the authority for children.
Number 3. And thy sword shall thou live. And thy
T-H-Y.
T-H-Y. And your sword, just put your. And your sword shall thou live, or you live. 2. And you shall serve your brother. This one is interesting. The 5th one. It's a long one. It says, and it shall come to pass, meaning it will happen. What I'm about to say will happen. When you break loose. Comma, that thou shall shake his H-I-S yoke from off thy neck. Period. Now, some of these, like verse 27 or 28, we could actually say that's one blessing, even though we counted it as 3. And God gave the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth and plenty of grain and new wine. Look at what he says to Esau. Look, of the fatness of the earth shall be your dwelling. But who does it belong to? It belongs to Jacob. And the dew of heaven above. But who does that belong to? Jacob. So under Jacob's blessing, you will live. Okay?
So Esau's blessing was not a blessing.
Wait. Yes, it is a blessing. Wait. Number 3. This is verse 40. That. Verse 40. For 3, 4, and 5. And your sword shall you live, and you shall serve your brother. No matter what he does, he's going to end up serving his brother. The rabbis say Jacob actually means like grabber, not supplanter. It means grabber. Because why? When he was born, he was holding the heel of his brother. He was grabbing the heel of his brother. The rabbis say that this signifies that in the end time, that he's going to conquer his brother. That's why he's at his foot. He's holding his heel. He's pulling him down. He's going to pull him down. That's what the rabbis say that it symbolically means of him holding his heel. And he said, it shall come to pass when you break loose that thou shalt shake his yoke from off thy neck. I want to point this out to you. Go back to our Genesis verse, our Torah portion. Go back to chapter 20. 20. You ready?
20 what?
5. 25. 23. And the Lord said to her, 2 nations are in your womb, the nation of Edom and the nation of Israel. He's not Israel yet, though. Okay, but Jacob, yes. Okay? And he said, let's see.
One people.
And the 2 people shall be separated from their bowels, and the 1 people shall be stronger than the other people. Notice it doesn't say Jacob will be stronger than Esau. It says 1 people will be stronger than the other. So at any given time, 1 group is always stronger than the other. This is exactly what 5 is saying. And it shall come to pass when you break loose that thou shalt shake his yoke from off your neck. What qualifies him to be able to shake the yoke off of his neck? When Israel becomes sinful and unrighteous, they are unqualified to walk in the miracle of their blessing, and Esau will always conquer them. But in the end,
Much like a couple of days ago.
in the end, what does God say? The elder shall serve the younger. And that's what he says right there in 4. You shall serve your brother. You see that? So, at any given time, either Esau is dominating or Israel is dominating. They're never cohorts. There's always one more powerful than the other. And the only way Esau can overcome Israel or Jacob is when there's sin. When they're not living the way God wants them to live. When they're not keeping the covenant. Now, Rabbi caught it. Jacob's blessing. He tells him, you will be Lord over your brothers. Number 6. Let your mother's sons bow down to you. This is his command. Let them bow to you. This is not saying they will. It's saying let them bow. Don't destroy them. Let them bow to you. But look at 8. Cursed be everyone that cursed thee, and blessed be everyone that blessed thee. Rabbi caught it. That is the Abrahamic covenant.
Sure.
Every person that curses you is cursed. Every person that blesses you will be blessed. Isaac operated in the Abrahamic covenant. You will not see Isaac given this blessing, but he gives it. Why? Because he is the image of his father.
Right.
And like it was given to his father, it was given to him, and this is the last time it's passed. Jacob receives it, and then he has 12 sons. None of his 12 sons are giving that promise, because it rests in Israel.
How would you apply that to what's happening today globally?
Okay? Hold on. Not done
So it's just a
yet.
question.
And that's the question I'm getting to. Okay? I promise.
See to
I'm sure you will.
Okay? Do we understand this?
Yes.
Okay? Number 8 is the Abrahamic covenant. Listen to what I'm saying. 8 is the Abrahamic covenant. It's not about the land. It's not about the stars and the skies and the children and the seed. The Abrahamic covenant is cursed be every man that curse you, and blessed is every man that bless you. We bless Israel, we are blessed. We curse Israel, we are cursed. That principle holds true to this day. Rabbi said it, that if we push, if Joe Biden pushes the ceasefire,
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
curse be every man that curse you.
Are you aware of all the traffic patterns that have happened, weather patterns that have happened after we have tried to tell Israel what to do? You need to look that one up.
Okay, hold on. I'll look that up. So do we understand what the Abrahamic covenant is?
Yes.
Okay? So he's passed it to Jacob. Okay? Esau, we've already said, is the church. Christianity, the Roman Catholics. Okay? That's how it's understood. Okay. Who are the Arabs?
Esau.
Ishmael.
Wait, who
Right.
are the Arabs?
The Arabs claim to be the sons of Ishmael, which is the uncle of Jacob. So what's going on right now is the uncles are fighting the nephews.
Yep.
He marries
Okay?
into marriage.
Now, here's the thing.
There's a lot of that too.
Okay? I could go really deep on this. but-
Please do.
Okay? Do we understand this?
Yes.
The blessing.
Yes.
Was Esau blessed? Yes, because he's told that he's not going to be eradicated. He's not going to be destroyed. He's going to live under the protection of his brother. That's what he's going to do. It's not what he wants to do, but essentially all that is given to him is what, but he's a wild man. He wants to run the fields and chase stuff.
you know the world.
Here's ADHD.
Okay? That's what he wants to do. But he's going to be submitted to the calm one that sits back and takes care of the sheep, takes care of the people. And he's one of the people. But at any given time, he says, you shall live by your sword. You shall live by your sword. The Christians have slaughtered the Jews
No, God, yes.
throughout the ages. So to say I am a Christian, you are associating with that slaughter.
Yep, you are.
Okay? Edom, Esau, was a man of dual personality. when Isaac wanted to bless him, he honored his father. But the command's not to honor your father. It's to honor your father and your mother. He only honored his father. You say, how? Because when his father told him, go get me the venison that you make, what did he do? He went and got it. He prepped it. He prepared it. Just the way his father wanted it. In the face of his father, he was a righteous man. When he was out in the field chasing everything, he's an unrighteous man. He's a man of duality.
Pieces.
Do you understand? Okay? He's a man, we may say he's two-faced, but he's a man of two personalities. There is a form of righteousness in him, but there is also a form of unrighteousness in him. Guess what? Jacob is the same way. There is a form of righteousness in him, but there's also a form of unrighteousness. So, whoever is righteous is who is in power. Ishmael, his uncle. The Arabs claim to be Ishmaelites. So what we have going on over there is the Ishmaelites fighting against Jacob or Israel. So it's uncle fighting nephews. Okay? Let me tell you, this fight, as bad as and as severe as it is, Israel has the power, the technological power, to turn that whole area into glass if they wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
But they value human life, and they refuse to just mass kill everybody to kill their enemy. So what are they willing to do? They're willing to sacrifice their own sons, just like Isaac did. The sons are willing to go in, ground beating, going urban warfare to fight and kill these guys. So just like their father Isaac, the fathers in Israel is giving their sons, and the sons are just like Isaac. They're willfully going to sacrifice and die instead of dropping bombs.
Yeah.
Israel has the #1 air force in the world.
Yep.
It's better than the American army. It's better than Russia, China, Germany. It is the #1 air force in the world. They could just completely wipe everything out. But they don't, because they value human life. And they'd rather lay down their life than to take innocent life. So, what is in the fathers is in the nation. The character of the father is in the nation. We're seeing Isaac today. Now, for the last 20 years, this is the last thing I want to share with you. Okay? Very last thing. What did Esau sell his birthright over?
Red.
Something red. We think it's red lentils.
Good.
So,
What's his birthright? Let's clarify that.
the birthright would have been the double portion.
Are you sure?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Listen, Daniel. The birthright is the double portion of the material world. The blessing is the right to the spiritual access of everything.
I'd argue that, but.
You can argue it.
I can't, I'm not going to.
Oh, I know. So, let's talk about what Esau did. Esau gave up his birthright and negotiated the birthright with food. What was the father going to bless him over? Food. His food. For the last 20 years, listen to what I'm about to say. For the last 20 years, the EU, the European Union, has been trying to label Israel's food. And what they want to label the food that comes out of the Golden Heights, Syria, and Judea. And they want it labeled from occupied territories. For the last 20 years, they have been fighting to try to get this passed. It was passed last year. Israel refuses to do it because if Israel labels their food occupied territory, they are acknowledging exactly the propaganda that has been taught about them and said about them about being occupiers instead of native owners of the land. It's almost like they're trying to overturn this, what their father did. It's like they're trying to overturn the birthright, but they can't. It is a spiritual warfare that is going on over the food that is raised in Israel and is exported. And it's wine, it's anything that's grown in those areas for the last 20 years. So, we think that this battle that's going on right now is the only spiritual warfare? No. Even Paul said it. He said, we are pressed on every side. From food to commerce to our land. Everybody wants to take it away. But cursed be everyone that curse you, and blessed be everyone that bless you. These people that are supporting that don't even realize what they're doing. Okay? Ishmael was there to bury his father, Abraham, Isaac, and Ishmael. So the rabbis say that Ishmael must be redeemed. All the Arab nations, let me tell you, there's only one nation that is stable. Only one Arab nation is stable. Saudi Arabia. Jordan is collapsing. Syria is collapsing. Egypt has collapsed. Every Muslim nation except Iran, and they are collapsing. Iraq is collapsing. But they are the main funders of Hamas. But their economy is collapsed. The one Muslim nation that is prospering is Saudi Arabia. You want to know why? Over the last 20 years, they've supported Israel. The current crown prince who is running Saudi Arabia has had death threats on his life because he's supporting Israel. And in this battle, he has pledged support to Israel. Yes? You're saying no?
No, I can say that. It's not my head.
You read a wrong facial expression.
Well, they try to bring him into the BRICS.
Yeah.
So what would happen if he goes into it?
Who? Saudi Arabia? Saudi Arabia's already made contracts and negotiations. They can try all they want, but he's already signed the treaties
Oh, with Israel.
with Israel.
Okay.
He's already signed it.
But if they go into the BRICS,
Israel.
they're against Israel. So,
But they can try to recruit him all they want. All those that are in BRICS has collapsed. Why would they want him? Because he's financially stable.
well, because Saudi Arabia is also the ally and what makes the dollar work. And I mean, Russia, China, they're trying their best to
Yeah,
bring
but
the
they
dollar
can't.
down.
Yeah.
It's a mix.
Oh, and it always is, and that's the whole point of all of this,
Yeah.
is that it's always a mix. There's always a Rav and Tav in everything.
So now I have another puzzle with when it comes to rabbis versus Zionists.
So what?
Rabbis versus the Zionist government.
Okay, so what you're talking about is the rabbis against Israel today.
Yes.
Because the
Well,
Israel,
since the 40s.
because the Israel today was built by Edom.
Yes. Because it started as a socialist.
It's not the Israel of covenant.
Oh, I'd agree with that, no doubt.
Yes.
You see, the Israel that stands today is not the Israel of covenant.
So how come? Well, yeah, but the Israel today is the same link from the U.S. today, and it's the same government.
Okay, so
Now let me tell you. That's why Iran and over there they said Israel is the small USA,
yes.
and U.S. is the big USA, or
Little Satan,
Israel
big
is the
Satan.
little Israel, and the U.S. is the big Israel.
Yes.
Little
Now,
Satan,
most
big
of these
Satan.
administrations over here, prior to this ones, lately, they've been filled by Jewish.
Do you realize that America is the only country that was founded as a Christian nation?
Yeah.
So
Esau.
who are we?
Well, I don't
Esau.
know.
We're Esau. All Western nations are Esau.
Well, I mean, they came from Europe.
Esau, it's still Esau.
Which is
Still
It's
Esau.
still
Well,
Esau.
okay.
Even Russia, let me tell you this. People don't realize it. Russia is Esau. When we had Obama, and Obama
Ugh.
declared
Ugh.
that we were not a Christian nation,
Uh-huh.
Putin stood up and he said, if America is not the Christian nation, I'll pick up the banner.
They pick up the what?
I'll pick up the banner.
Really?
Really?
He did.
Wow.
Putin said that.
Wow.
I will represent all Christians. Russia will represent all Christians.
Yeah, he
Really?
wasn't he adopted by Jewish family?
Yes, he was.
Putin?
Putin
Really?
was.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So even Russia is Edom.
Okay.
Is there history?
Now, when they came from Europe, I mean, I believe even New York, it was actually kind of rooted from Jocko. And Britain, it's Brit, the covenant.
Wait a minute, say that again. I'm sorry.
When they came from Europe
Yes,
and started this nation.
yes.
Now, there's a trace from Europe, let's say Britain, that's Brit, the covenant.
Oh, no.
And then New York was,
Remember
Jacob.
when you read in Hebrew, you can get, is that a good covenant or a bad covenant?
Yeah, there are a bunch of
Let's
different
not
covenants.
forget that. Just because it's a covenant doesn't mean it's a good one.
well,
What were
there's
you gonna say?
descendants-
You said no,
descendants
Rabbi.
of what he
Well,
did.
you need to
Well, you're using
understand.
the word Brit, so
Listen up.
it's gotta be Hebrew
You
now.
have to
Go in that
understand.
direction.
As I was reading, there were over 40 covenants. Right now, it's not about land that they're fighting.
Nope.
Wait that out of the way. But one of the things that really stood out was when the twins are in the womb. Esau is the descendant of the Edomites, and Jacob, of course, the Israelites. Different customs, different traditions, different methods of religion. Okay? It also says that the Edomites are warriors. They're always warring and draw history. You gotta study the whole history, but these people are the ones who have been the most vicious individuals. Of all the history that I studied about the Roman Empire, what was the only ethnic group of people that the Romans feared? No. What was the ethnic group of people that the Romans feared?
Germania?
Was that the ones that beat them at the end? No? The Cathars?
That's your homework.
Okay.
That's your homework. These people were so ruthless that the legions, when they were to fight against these guys,
Barbarians.
they would rather just not go because these men, it says that when they, you gotta study the formation, how the Romans fought. Clue number one, that these guys would decimate the formation of the Romans. This is the only ethnic group army that the Romans feared. Yet they conquered almost 3/4 of the world.
Spartans?
No.
Barbarians.
That's your homework.
I want to show you something. Just like Ishmael
Mary.
is to be redeemed. Listen to what I'm about to say. Turn to Genesis chapter 33. Genesis chapter 33.
Who's yawning? Tony? Where's the Daniel?
He's asleep.
Okay, so this, where we're at right now
What
is
does it mean?
Yaakov has wrestled with the angel. Chapter 33. Jacob has wrestled with the angel. His name has been changed to Israel. And he's sending all these gifts to Esau because he's afraid of Esau. And what Esau, and I got something else too. Now look at this. Starting at verse 8. And this is Esau speaking.
33:8.
33:8. And he said, "What meanest thou by this camp which I met?" And he, this is Israel, or Jacob, said, "To find favor in your sight, my Lord." Look at that. Now look at what Esau says. "I have enough, brother. Let that which thou hast be thine." Right here, Esau concedes to this.
Yeah.
He concedes to this. Let that which is yours be yours, and let that which is mine be mine. He concedes.
Yeah.
And when he concedes, what the rabbis say is that Edom is redeemed.
You know what?
Is redeemed.
Oh.
So Ishmael and Edom both will be redeemed and brought under the leadership of Israel. What did Noah say to his sons? He told Shem that he would dwell in the houses of Japheth. He said Japheth would spread abroad, that Shem would have God and would dwell in there, and that Ham would serve his brothers.
The pattern repeats.
It repeats.
So, are you gonna cover and he kissed him on the neck briefly? It's a really good Torah drosh.
Here,
Yeah.
Daniel, I know what you're talking about.
No, I think we should share it because
You know what?
it's huge, it's short.
What he's talking about is the dotted letters here that he's supposed to bite him on the neck. I don't agree with that, Josh. And the text don't bear that out.
Sure it does.
No, it doesn't.
Sure it does.
Him in the neck?
No,
Esau still wanted to kill him.
but he
Esau,
didn't.
well, he didn't, but that was his last ditch attempt.
Look, that is a drosh.
That's a hell of a drosh. and
It
it's in the
is, but you
Torah
know
still.
what? It doesn't bear out with the plain text.
Sure
It's
it
only
does.
one
No, it
opinion.
doesn't.
Sure it does. Esau's been trying to hurt him for the day.
He hated him.
Why they
Here
exactly?
he concedes to him.
Time passed by.
Well, so don't tell me it was a really friendly, oh, let's kiss and make up.
No, I didn't say that.
Well, I know you're not saying that, but that's the only two things it can be.
Daniel, take the dots off and read the text.
I'm leaving the dots in because they're in the Torah scroll.
You know what? They are, but you know why they're in the Torah scroll?
Tell me.
Because the word don't belong.
The word don't belong.
Yes.
Well,
The scribes dotted letters when they did not believe it belonged.
I'm of the persuasion that those dots have been on the earth a lot longer than you and I both together have been on this earth.
I don't disagree, because Torah scrolls have been around for 3,000 years.
That's what I'm saying. So I'll stay with that logic. I think it makes a whole lot more sense.
No, I don't. But
Well, that's okay.
you can believe what you want.
Well, of course. Be an American. That's okay.
Or you can just read the Torah for what it says, and not the drosh. Yes.
That's the beautiful part about it.
Anyway, so Esau goes and marries an Ishmaelite, right?
Yeah, he marries 2 Hittites.
So
And then, this is something else that was very interesting to me, that I'd never seen before. When Isaac tells Jacob to go to Laban, his uncle, Ishmael hears it.
yeah.
Edom hears it, and he goes. But to spite what was said, he goes and marries another foreign woman.
He was rebellious.
He
Disobedient.
went out to the field and found another woman. But he knew where his brother was. Here is how you know that he honored his father, because it says that he desired to kill him, but he said in his heart he wouldn't do it as long as his father was alive. He honored his father. That's the righteousness that's in him.
But Isaac loved Edom because he will bring the meat,
He was a man of the field.
man of the field, but he will make the food for him as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Here's the thing: is I think there's a drosh. I heard someone talking about it. Like it talks about the clothes, and I know what the drosh about it being the coat from the garden. But they are also saying that when he would go and present food to his father, that he would dress as a king before his father. He would dress in his best clothing.
Wow.
He would dress in his best clothing to go before his father. So not only did he cook his food, he dressed properly to go before his father. So this again shows the honor and the righteousness that resides in Edom.
Because earlier you say that Rebekah had to make the perfect meal for Isaac.
Yes.
Is that what you said earlier?
Yeah, well, what Rivka says is, I'll make him savory food that he likes to eat.
She had to do it as same as Esau used to do it in the past to his father.
Like we said, goat and venison don't taste the same.
They don't.
They don't taste the same.
Not at all.
She probably taught him how to cook it.
I don't know, because when we look at Jacob, we see Jacob cook in the tents. It doesn't say that Esau cooks in the tents. Where did he cook?
Outside.
Out in the field,
He would grill.
you know?
But when they say Jacob was in the tent, I always thought that meant that because he was always studying.
That is a midrash from the rabbis, that he was a Torah scholar.
Yeah.
Yeah, but from the Torah, it means that he was a shepherd. He followed sheep. The fact that he was in Laban's camp, what did he do? Did he study Torah in Laban's camp? No, he took care of sheep. He was a master shepherd,
Okay.
is what he was. Where did he learn that? In his father's house.
How many years? How many years did he study?
He studied a lot.
I think it was 20.
Study more than that.
Well, yeah, all his
Because he
life.
was getting ready to go to Laban. And
Right,
Laban was
before
a
he went to
warlord.
Laban.
A warlock, a sorcerer.
Sorcerer, yeah, yeah.
Says that he studied Torah in the Tent of Shem for over 60 years.
60 years?
60 years.
Do we have time for me to show you one more thing?
Yeah.
Four is your
Why
thing,
not,
Lord.
man?
I mean,
You
That-
don't,
that-
I mean,
Whatever-
one more thing.
Whatever you want to do.
Don't want one more thing?
You know, it is what it is.
I think he
One
likes
more
his
thing.
throne too much.
One
Just
last
let it
thing.
go.
Scribe, where you are, Scribe?
Scribe.
No, forget the scribe.
We're all
frozen here.
Scribe has
So
frozen
today, U.S. is.
It's gotta earn her dinner.
Oh. So today the U.S. is Esau,
Esau.
and
Sure.
it's aligned with Ishmael to go against Israel.
No,
Yet we get on the news that they're supporting Israel.
here's the thing, is
That one.
what I've been told and what I've learned is that the United States is the good part of Esau.
Okay.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yes, we're the good part of Edom. Remember I told you that Edom has a duality. He has an evil side and a righteous side.
Yeah. So the bad side is wrong.
Yeah.
Over there.
Well, remember,
The Rome's still alive too.
I mean,
'Cause the
we can get
government-
into all kinds of stuff talking
Which
about
is that?
this.
Good and evil, you just said, right?
Show us
Yes.
what you're gonna show us.
Kefa, what year were you born?
70.
Okay, 1970. So you were too young to learn about the 6-Day War.
67.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Henry Kissinger,
Yes.
the Secretary of State, did not want to support Israel.
Yeah.
When Golda Meir asked Nixon for support, Henry Kissinger said, no, we're not going to help him. It was through a dream or a vision
Okay.
that Nixon received or remember a teaching that his mother taught him about blessing Israel.
Really.
Okay.
It was through that intervention that his mother taught him
No, one.
when he sent the largest overnight embargo of weaponry
Okay.
to Israel because Israel was in the brink of being wiped out.
Okay.
And who were the nations that they were fighting? Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Iraq, Iran.
Okay.
Okay? This is what Israel is fighting right now. They're fighting it through Hamas, and Hamas is supported by Iran, Iraq, Jordan, Syria. Okay?
Okay.
Now, that's why they don't want this to escalate, because if it does escalate, it's going to become a world war.
Of course.
Okay.
Okay?
It already is.
If
Yeah,
just
right.
like what Scott said,
Just to-
Israel rather go to fight a conventional war. Yet Israel has the weaponry to wipe out.
Everybody.
They have cluster bombs. This is what Russia is using on the people from Ukraine right now. They're using those cluster bombs.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So if Russia is Esau, the Ukrainians is Israel. You know that Golda Meir was a Ukrainian? You Jew?
I didn't know that.
She was a Ukrainian Jew. History will repeat itself. If Israel does not stop Hamas right now, what's going to happen to us?
But see, it's kind of confusing that Henry Kissinger, he was Netanyahu boss over there in Israel. Henry Kissinger. He was Netanyahu's Benjamin Netanyahu.
No.
Back then.
No.
Well, before coming to the States, he served the government in Israel.
Yeah, but Henry Kissinger is in the 60s. Netanyahu now is in the
Oh, I'm sorry, his brother, Netanyahu's brother, right? Netanyahu's Benjamin
El que
Netanyahu's brother.
murió.
Yeah,
The brother that died.
Netanyahu, Benjamin.
Benjamin's older brother.
Right. No, ese no es.
No, yeah. But Kissinger was at the government in Israel before coming over here.
That I didn't know.
Yes.
That I didn't know.
I thought he was Jewish.
Kissinger?
If he was
Yeah.
Jewish, then why would he turn his back against his own
Because
brothers?
he's
Well, that's why I'm
Indian.
saying that that's what it is confusing. But
I mean, there again.
Yeah, just like all the liberal Jews that we
Yeah.
have currently in our society.
Okay.
They're against
Scott said
Israel.
something very interesting, that the Israel today is not the spiritual Israel.
Of course not.
Why? Because only less than 5% follow Torah,
Exactly.
follow the commandments.
More like 2%.
A population in Israel, there are more Jews in New York
Mm-hmm.
that follow Torah today than they are in Israel.
Believe that.
That's why sometimes the Jew is so liberal that how can you tell me that in Tel Aviv they're holding gay parades?
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
it's all these.
When was all this done? I mean, that's why sometimes you see this. I said, wait a minute.
Thanks to George Soros.
Well, that's why Hamas decided to attack. The way I understand it, that Israel is so weak right now because they're just liberal. It's like,
And also they did it on a festival.
and
Okay.
they did it on a festival.
I put this up, or we put this up a little bit earlier. Everything I'm about to talk to you about is all based in rabbinics. Okay? So, this part is Torah. So Haran has Milcha, Lot, and this person. Ishkar. Okay? Milha marries Nahor. Okay? Haran dies. That's all Torah. This is all Torah. Okay? Nahor and Milha has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 children. Okay? From Bethuel comes Rebekah and Laban. Clear? Okay. Now, according to what I was reading, Milha, Isha, is Sarah.
What?
It's another name for Sarah.
Okay? So, this lady right here marries him.
Oh.
Remember, it was brother and sister. No, that's not
They were.
Yes,
They
they
were.
were.
They were the
They
same
were.
father but different mothers.
right.
Yes, yes,
Wow.
that's right.
Okay? Now, also, again, this is all rabbinics. I'm not done yet. Don't take it yet.
Okay.
But it's not Sarah, it's
I'm always
Sarah.
quick with the camera.
Yes, Sarah.
No, don't.
Sarah the age is
You
not.
never know. They might
Not yet.
start erasing.
I
AI.
can always end up adding another picture.
Oh, of course you.
Okay, let me finish. Now,
Shoot.
according, let me give you the verse. Look at this verse right quick. Genesis 22, 30 through 23. It gives us all of this.
Okay.
Okay?
Genesis.
According to the rabbis,
Uh-huh.
okay? Us is
Really?
Okay.
What? Say it
And?
again?
Joel?
Really?
That's Joel?
Us? You say us?
Uh-huh.
Oh, us. Not us.
That's not the schools.
I missed that.
Bilhah is Balaam.
What?
Really?
This is what the rabbis say, that these two, and this brother right here, in the text, it says that Milha had Uz and Bud, Uz,
Who's and who's?
Booz, but it says Booz, the brother of Uz. And then it says this guy. The rabbis explain that this guy was between good
And evil.
and evil, and he chose to be good.
And those two guys were in Pharaoh's inner
Course,
circle.
inner circle.
Now, but look,
Yeah.
this is all from Abraham's lineage, guys. So, Balaam, Rabbi has taught us, was the greatest warlock.
Warlock.
Yeah.
But who is this?
Another
His uncle.
warlock. Another warlock.
Another warlock. The greatest warlocks of the world came from
Milha.
Milha. Also, the greatest covenant woman came from Milha.
Wow.
That's interesting.
So,
Good and evil. Up and top.
So this is what I was telling you, that there is tremendous spiritual power in the line of Torah for good and evil.
Interesting.
It's the tree of.
can we take pictures, huh?
Yes.
Terah, was he good or evil? Or he had both?
You know what's interesting to me about Torah is that Torah, it says, and I've always thought about this, that Haran dies in their native land, and they move. Torah takes Abram and Nahor to Uz, and it says that the biblical text says that he was going to Canaan, but he stopped in Uz. He stopped. He was going to Canaan. Then he dies, and then where does Abraham go? To where his father was going,
Buzz.
Canaan.
Canaan.
He was originally going to Canaan, but he stopped and just stayed there. I've always wondered, was he really was supposed to do what Abraham was supposed to do? That's always been a question in my mind. You know?
Yeah.
I have no answers to that, but it's interesting to me that it specifically says that he was going to Canaan and he stopped. And then the next time we see Canaan, it's tied to Abram.
Wow.
It's an interesting idea.
It's very interesting.
So, I remember the story of Balaam and the talking donkey.
Yeah.
And that was a very interesting story as I was growing up. Now you're saying Balaam was a warlock, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, the talking donkey, was that from Yahweh talking through the donkey, or was that some sorcery through Balaam? That, okay, so
No.
what do you know about that? I'm curious.
God can make anything.
Let
God.
me share this with you. The question that you asked is a lengthy question. It's going to take time to
Yeah,
answer.
yeah,
Okay? Now I'm not brushing it away. One of the things you need to understand is that Balaam, he was such a evil individual that he had enough power to elevate, to fly like a bird. Wow. That's how evil this man was. But God used a man to destroy him and to fall him as well. God gave this man the power to fly as well. And he was a warrior for Israel. That's your homework. Who was this guy?
that's my homework.
You have two questions. You're going to give me an answer in 2 weeks. That's two questions.
Do you have this? You understand
Wait, let me write it down.
Careful.
Is it okay if I cheat?
Huh?
Is it okay if I cheat?
No, you gotta find it.
I'm not going to give you the answer.
No, but is it okay if I cheat?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you gonna
Get
cheat?
it.
All right.
Get it any way you can.
Oh,
Okay, so what's the question,
Good
Rabbi?
luck.
Okay. Question number one was. Question number one was. Well, let's start with question number two. First of all. Who was the guy that killed Balaam?
Pinchas.
Thank you very
I don't remember.
He already gave you the answer. Phineas.
We didn't hear you.
Or Pinchas.
Oh,
And he was a warrior of our Father Yahweh.
Yes.
Warrior.
He was the nephew of Moses.
So what's the other question?
I forgot the first question. Let me see if I can remember it back.
This is the Kissinger
It was
thing.
for Gefa.
There was the Kissinger thing.
I was
wasn't
talking about the talking donkey.
Huh?
That was for Gefa who has.
But remember this, guys. The rabbis say that the greatest enemy of a Jew is another Jew.
Yeah, right. Well, just-
The only thing that can
applies to
destroy
Mexicans too.
the only thing that can destroy a Jew is a Jew.
yeah.
Look at Hitler.
Hitler was Jewish.
Yeah, but I said, a Jew, and he said no.
Say what, Kefa?
Would you, two questions, real quick. Would Esau and Jacob,
Esau and Jacob.
The sword
right?
and Balaam was on the
Would
donkey.
did the
On the
rabbi
road.
say anything about them being
And
pieces?
Making
Balaam
ISIS?
said, "Tom, go this way, go this way." But then the angel
That's
was
probably
running
just-
just with the donkey would veer
Oh.
away because he didn't want to get.
I'm sure that there's some
Yes,
Kabbalistic
master.
stuff
Yeah.
there. I haven't looked at it.
Now this, would you also consider lineage the tree of good and
Was that an angel?
evil? Knowledge of truth.
I'll answer your question later on. It's not gonna take time.
No. But remember
Because there's always.
what we do during Sukkot?
Each chapter?
Yes.
Oh.
But what does Rabbi always teach on? The Ushpasim.
On Sukkot? The characters of,
Right.
Yes. Those are the tree.
and that's why with this side from Laban, we get all the opposite side of the tree.
But you got both sides in there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Would you consider,
Yeah,
have
you
you
got
heard
both
that,
sides in there.
have you heard that this, within the genealogies, they're both a tree of good and good and evil?
I can see that. But I mean, but that's,
On the knowledge.
see, that's what I'm saying here, that when you look at Torah and his lineage, he's got both in the lineage. He's got good and he's got evil. And then you got Abraham, who does this whole 180 and just totally leaves and finishes going to Canaan because he hears a voice. He heard a voice. He never had a vision. Now, Rabbi always talks about how Abram knew God at 3. The rabbis have two arguments on that. They say that he knew him at 3, and the other argument is that he come to know him at 40. So there's two viewpoints by the rabbis about when Abram actually knew God.
Yes, sir.
What I read in the timeline book is that he rejected the other gods at 3. That's what I read. You know, but like we always say, one topic, 2 Jews, 3 opinions. Yes.
You know what? I just recall. I remember I run into an information, and it was a rabbi who participated on the Zohar,
Okay.
but he made a writing stating that there will be a 5th exile for Israel, and it will be the worst one. But this one will come from Ishmael. Now that I recall. Yes.
I haven't heard of this.
I'll try to get that next week, but I know I ran into that.
Not next week, the
You're
week
gonna
after.
be here by yourself.
You got 2 weeks. You got 2 weeks to find
If you're
it.
not here, hey, you missed it.
You're gonna be the only one.
You got any other questions on this? No? Oh, we gotta do a Havdalah.
No, you gotta do Havdalah.
Already can.
Can I say something else?
You can say whatever you want to say, bro.
But this kind of has to do with the big K. What do you think?
Save it.
Save it. I remember the other question with Commissioner.
Everybody got this? Had you ever heard of this?
It's off the press.
Huh?
It's off the press.
It's off the press?
Yeah, I believe it's in the jury's personality, so, the jury's encyclopedia of personality.
That's not where I got it, but I didn't think you mentioned
Ándale, Pedrini.
Ándale, Dad.
it. We waiting on
We waiting on you.
you? No.
She's sharp. I thought you didn't know Spanish, girl.
She did that in a split of a second.